Lisa Scanlon, Miss America, and first of all, it's always nice to have you back in town.
Oh, well, thank you. It's always good to be back here. It feels like I'm back home. Of course, my second home anyway, that was for the whole time I was Miss Nebraska.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, of course, back at the Miss Nebraska Scholarship Pageant, and this is an area where you kind of started launching a lot of historical points because you were the youngest Miss Nebraska ever, the first Miss Nebraska to be Miss America, and then, if I'm not mistaken, the youngest Miss America as well. So, I mean, that's a lot of history. How does it feel emotionally to kind of be back where it all started?
Well, I think it's great because you remember who it was that started you off, who's been there all along, who supported you all the way through, and who always believed in you. Because honestly, from the beginning, when I was competing in Miss Nebraska, I didn't even believe I could do it. I didn't believe in myself. But there were people here who said, you can be Miss Nebraska and you can be Miss America before I even thought that. So it's great to be back with those people that have been there for me all along.
Yeah, I gotta imagine it's always nice to be around people that always have believed in you. So that's very exciting. Now, of course, as Miss America, you've been all over the place. You've been so busy. And I'm going to ask you the tough, hard-hitting question here. If you had to pick one event or accomplishment or day that kind of highlights everything, what would that be?
You can't ask that question. See, the problem is with everything that we're doing, it's so diverse. There's such a variety of things. So from day to day, it's always so different, the kinds of events we do. My favorite events are always the events that we do with kids in the children's hospitals. As we work with Children's Miracle Network hospitals, when we're able to go see those children and see what's going on in these hospitals, truly miracles are happening every day, as well as the events we do with the military. That's always really neat. We work with the USO quite a bit in the DC area. I just came from LA last week where we were there for the Army Ball. Anytime we're able to meet service members and tell them thank you, tell them that we're proud of them, those are really memorable moments, and it's just been incredible to work with so many different groups of people, you know, from events like that to corporate events to other pageants, whatever it may be. It's a little bit of everything, so it's so hard to decide, it really is.
I understand. Now, obviously you have a very busy schedule, and there are people with the Miss America organization that kind of help you keep track of that. But
yes.
How active of a role do you have in deciding where you're going to be, which days, and stuff?
You know, honestly, none at all. It really is. We have a very small staff, actually, at the national offices. It's about a dozen people there in Atlantic City who do all the booking for me. So when somebody requests an appearance, it all goes through them and then comes to my schedule, and I follow along. And so my tour manager and I travel. We're on the road together, so I have someone to be with, which is really great to have someone on the road because it does get a little lonely, and it's nice to have that companion. Other than that, really, we have some say when they ask us about specific events we really like to do. So of course they know that coming back to Nebraska is always really important for me. So I do believe I will be at the Nebraska State Fair. I'll be here all week for the Miss Nebraska pageant. There's several other events in Nebraska. I'm often in the Lincoln and Omaha area, so they know that those are really important to me, and so it's been great to see those come on my schedule. I'm always excited whenever I see Nebraska on there.
Very cool. Now, Nebraska Land Days, you're going to be able to be here for that event?
I don't believe so. No, we're headed out after the pageant this week, but our new Miss Nebraska will be there for the entire time, and so it'll be great, a great chance for everybody to meet her once she's crowned Saturday night.
Yeah, and that'll certainly be wonderful. Now, when you talk about all the things you've been involved with, and you know, probably a lot of long days where you're just really crazy busy, and then you got to go out and travel, and you're getting in at 2 o'clock in the morning. If you have one of those rare moments where, barring that you're sleeping, you're on the plane, or you just get a few minutes in a hotel, and you get to kind of unwind, de-stress, what are some of the things that you do to kind of relax a little bit?
Oh goodness, well, always reading my Bible and praying is really the way to start off my day and end my day. It's the only thing that keeps me going, really, because sometimes with the craziness of it all, you can start to lose touch with what's really important, and you can start to lose sight of why it is that we do what we do. And when you're really tired and you're exhausted, you feel like, why am I doing this? You know, what's the reason? What's the purpose? And that always helps me remember, refocus my thoughts, look at the big picture, and see that this really is about making a difference for Christ and about reaching these young girls who look up at me adoringly, to give them good example, to show them what they can aspire to be someday. And that's really what it's all about, is about promoting those ideals that endure. The organization's been around for 90 years now, and to be a part of that is really incredible. It's something that I want to cherish every minute and make the most of it.
Now, you have clothing sponsorships, jewelry, and other apparel, shoes, obviously, And I guess one of the things I was kind of wondering is how all does that work in terms of, I mean, do they just give you like a catalog of different things that you can look, or is it more like, we'd like you to wear this item to this event specifically?
You know, it's actually kind of almost a mixture of both of those. Although we don't have a say in those things, our clothing sponsor, Joseph Ribkoff, sends us new wardrobe every couple of weeks, and it's just several pieces that I decide from there what I'd like to wear for what events. Then I send back whatever I'm done with or I'm not using, and we alternate like that through the weeks. From there, it's really up to me, of course, how I rotate out the clothes and shoes and that sort of thing. So it's kind of interesting sometimes to have to get a shipment of clothes and then just decide, look at my schedule and decide what fits where, and without really having the shopping experience. But it's a lot of fun too, because Joseph Ribkoff just does an incredible job with that, and we're really lucky to have them as our wardrobe sponsor this year. So I couldn't be happier with them.
Now, speaking of things you wear, you've got the crown. It's not on now, but I guess one thing I was wondering is certainly what it stands for. It means so much, and it's an honor to wear it. But at the same time, I mean, it's not made out of velvet or silk. Does it ever get uncomfortable having that sitting there on your head all day?
You know, it doesn't. Many people ask if it's heavy, and I think that's the main thing, that it's not uncomfortable because it's not that heavy. So they do a great job with it. They have elastic across the top so you can bobby pin it on so it stays really well. So it's really similar to the Miss Nebraska crown. So I do enjoy wearing it, which is good. I think that's the goal.
Yeah, now you pin it in. Have you ever had it where you're working on it and you're pinning it and you look up in the mirror and, oh man, it's crooked, and then you got to go back? And I could see where that would be really frustrating.
Well, you know, honestly, I got really good at it really quickly. And Miss Nebraska's practice for it too. But pretty soon you could do it without looking in a mirror, and you could do it really, really fast. So it's been getting better anyway.
All right, well, hey, Teresa, it was great to have you back.
Thank you
and
so much.
I know it means so much to the girls here to have you here, and it's always a pleasure when we can see you back in the fine state of Nebraska.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for having me.